This is our AP Stats Response Bias project. I'm Ashlyn,
I'm Asa.
I'm Sriya.
and our question addressed by this experiment is, does anonymity affect the responses of the subjects?
So we thought that if the survey was anonymous, then more students would admit to cheating than if they were not anonymous. So that would mean that anonymity does affect responses of subjects.
We chose this topic because we believe that DVHS has many issues with cheating. We have all been in many courses where rampant cheating was a normal occurrence, especially with remote learning in the past year. Okay, so we used cluster random samples and used a random number generator after assigning numbers to each freshman English teacher to pick two freshman English classes and then use the same method to find two senior English classes. This method was chosen in order to provide an equal chance for any English 9 and 12 classes to be selected and to ensure that there is enough data to interpret and draw conclusions from. It also blocks by grade level and by the presence of anonymity. So for our sampling procedure, we used random assignment of treatment by giving one version of the survey with anonymity to one class and giving the other class with a version without anonymity. And we gave a Google form asking for their names to one class and gave a Google form that did not ask for a name to the other class.
Since the difference in grade level is a confounding variable, we collected anonymous and not anonymous responses from each end of the spectrum, i.e. freshmen and seniors. Another confounding variable was the course rigor. Increased course rigor may stress and pressure students into cheating. So we only selected regular English 12 courses to be either anonymous or not anonymous, and all English 9 courses were already regular.
So for our experimental procedure, we just went into English classrooms that were selected and we introduced ourselves and why we were there. So after everyone answered the survey, we ended with the fact that the students' answers would have been confidential. And the data collected is categorical, but it does allow for comparison of response to treatment of subgroups, which is anonymous versus non-anonymous. And it allows us to compare seniors and freshmen, but also closely compare anonymous versus non-anonymous in an organized fashion.
Our explanatory variable was the presence of anonymity, and the response variable is the student's responses, like yes, they cheated or no, they haven't cheated. So 40% of students said that they have cheated when they were anonymous, while 30.43% of the students said that they cheated when the survey was not anonymous. And so this shows that even when anonymous, there was an increase in admitting to cheating by approximately 9.57%. So if we separate by grade level, 34.62% of freshmen admitted to cheating when they were anonymous, and 43.47% of freshmen admitted to cheating but not anonymous. And 45.83% of seniors admitted to cheating when anonymous, while 17.39% of seniors admitted to cheating when not anonymous. So freshmen were more likely to admit to cheating when non-anonymous by 8.85%, and seniors were more likely to admit to cheating when anonymous by 28.44%.
So problems that we ran into were that not all students from each class surveyed completed the survey. So instead of getting 30 responses from each class, we got around between 20 to 25. And in the classroom, surveying in a classroom environment with the teachers close by could have an effect on the students' responses because they would be more inclined to not admit that they cheated. And another problem that we ran into was that there was a substitute teacher in one of the 9th grade English classes that did not allow me to survey a class, although we did ask permission from the actual teacher, but we had to convince the sub to allow us to survey the class.
Some things that we would change is that we only surveyed students of DV in only 2 grade levels. The data could be generalized to only like DV freshmen or like DV seniors. If we were able to do this survey again, we would try to include more grade levels like sophomores and juniors. And also, if we could, also include more high schools in our area.
The
Okay.
treatments, anonymous versus non-anonymous surveys were assigned randomly to each of the 2 classrooms, meaning that they're randomly assigned to freshman English classes and randomly assigned to senior English classes. So we can infer that anonymity did not affect senior English classes and that freshman English classes were affected by the presence of anonymity, except freshmen were more likely to admit to cheating in the non-anonymous survey. We can't determine why freshmen were more open in the non-anonymous survey since it completely goes against the idea that anonymity inclines people to admit to their wrongdoings. And no other population other than DVHS freshmen and seniors can be generalized with this data since it only includes DVHS freshmen and seniors.
To answer the question of interest, when freshmen were non-anonymous, they admitted to cheating more often than when they were anonymous. This produced the opposite results from our hypothesis. We can use our results from both the anonymous and non-anonymous seniors to say that there is no effect of anonymity existing in the survey versus it not existing. Overall, using of all of our data, anonymity does not significantly affect the responses of students.
So a possible confounding variable we found in our data collection was the classroom environment, as stated in the slide before. And one freshman class did have a substitute teacher, which also influenced or possibly influenced responses to the survey. But another shortcoming of our study was that we only surveyed students in DVHS, which comparatively has a different environment in terms of peer pressure and general atmosphere than most other high schools. So the reason we chose the question of cheating was to find out more about DVHS's cheating issue. However, we can't use this data to generalize outside of DVHS's population of freshmen and seniors. And that's all. Thank you for listening.